Hey, welcome. This is The Process. My name is Dr. John Bush. I hope I can move that. This is my week 8 game scripts, uncertainty, defense against position, Vegas insights, giving you an opportunity to see what I do, how I use my own material. Hopefully, it helps you, at least inspires thinking. Okay, inspires tie-breaking decisions, lineups, etc. I start out with Vegas, high-scoring games, low-scoring games. What's the spread between the favorite and underdog? Uh, Low-scoring games, that's not as fantasy friendly as high-scoring games. I need to know that. Any kind of big spread uh, kind of gets into that garbage time situation. So you can plan for, and it's usually wide receivers or tight end or pass catching running backs will benefit in garbage time situations. So I look for that. If it's a very close game back and forth, then kind of various, pretty much everybody's in play at that point. My defense against the position table. Looking at the team playing, their opponent, how their opponent stacks up overall defense against the position. So basically, it's a measure of the defense. Is there a home versus an away game? Uh, how does the defense a team is playing work against their running or rushing game with the running back versus passing, which is quarterback, wide receiver, tight end, and people use kickers and defenses for streaming, that kind of thing. That data is there as well. And finally, I give you my rankings, player, team, position, my rankings from 0 to 100, sometimes a little higher. It's Fantasy Sports Professor ranking. There it is. And the uncertainty levels. Okay, so if we think about uncertainty, high uncertainty players have a big floor to ceiling, big range of outcomes possible. Low uncertainty players have a tighter, narrower range of outcomes. So there is this concept of safe. Low uncertainty players would be, quote, safe, and high uncertainty players would tend to be less safe for lineups, acquisitions, trades, daily fantasy, uh, uh, playing there, daily fantasy sports and whatnot. So high ranked, low uncertainty is better than a high ranked, high uncertainty. You know, if you do have an exact choice tied, I would try to go with the lower uncertainty player. But that doesn't happen a lot. You know, it's pretty clear who you need to play and not most of the time. But anyway, it gives me an idea to look. First, before we get into that, I do every week, and that should be week 8. So I got to go in and correct that, or maybe I won't. Uh, uh, oh man, I have not added this. Okay, well, this data is real. Dallas, Philadelphia, Buffalo, Cincinnati, San Francisco, and Minnesota are the top power rankings. Carolina, Washington, Chicago, and Houston are the low ranked teams, and lots of concerns and scary situations exist on those teams. And I just plotted for you to see the scale of the power, and what's going on. You can judge accordingly. Okay, and looks like I need to change this as well. Yep. So I'm glad I did this. So now I got to revamp the article a little bit. Uh, for this week, the uncertainty teams has nothing to do with power rankings. Highest uncertainty is Carolina, probably not surprised. Green Bay continues, given what's going on. The Giants, the Jets, Atlanta, Miami, Denver, Minnesota, Tampa Bay, we've already had them. We saw the uncertainty. Jacksonville, the Rams, and then the least uncertain teams, Cincinnati, Buffalo, New Orleans, surprisingly, New England, Indianapolis, Seattle, Detroit, Dallas, Philadelphia, Arizona. Cisco. So that's kind of the skew of the high uncertainty and low uncertainty teams. So that should make you feel a little more confident or a little less confident in your choices, depending on them. Okay. I go through each of the games, but I group them as what Vegas says is 49 points better, 48 points actually better. Here are the 5 high shootout games. The only one that's of garbage time interest is Bills and Packers. Vegas thinks it's 10.5 points. So that almost implies lots of craziness late in the game from the Packers, throwing, throwing, throwing. So that could mean that Aaron Rodgers gives us a big passing game. He may not be efficient, may get intercepted because Buffalo is tough, tough, tough in defenses there. And other games like Dolphins and Lions are pretty much back and forth, so there's not as much garbage time potential. So it's more play them if you got them, back and forth, and the last team that has the ball could win the game kind of scenarios. So just take a look at that. 48 points or better is good. Top scoring game of the week is Dolphins and Lions. That's really interesting there. And uh, Bengals and Browns at 47.5. So it's close to 48. And there you go. So just give you an example of the DAPs that you can look at. Here is my DAPs for the 3 of the high games. Detroit, Miami, let's start with that. It's week 8. The segment of the season is last half, LH. Detroit's at home. That helps. They have a really good home away split. And Miami has their opponent, and their overall is easy defense. And Swift should do well. Goff should do well. Hawkinson, look at the tight end, should do well. And the Sun God can, if he's healthy, can work through a little bit of a tougher situation. Miami, it's play Miami all day kind of scenario, except for wide receivers have a little tough, but we're talking Hill and Waddle. So you're pretty much going to play everybody you got in those, and it's a back and forth high shootout scenario. So play them all day kind of thing. Arizona, Minnesota, easy defenses overall. Cook's going to have to work hard for Minnesota. It's a little bit tough, and the wide receivers very tough. So Cousins might use Herb Smith more. Take a look at the tight end. So that could be a surprise this week if you're streaming. Arizona, the running game, Eno Benjamin should be all uh, uh, he should be all in your lineups. And Murray has an opportunity with Zach Ertz. Look at Zach Ertz. So it could be a surprising tight end game for both teams there. That could be interesting. Hopkins should do well, even if it's a tougher scenario. He should do well. I don't expect anything different. Uh, Vegas versus New Orleans. Vegas, both team defenses are easy or pretty easy. New Orleans with Kamara is going to have to work hard, but passing with Dalton, so Dalton's going to pass all day long. May get some interceptions, but uh, get some points as well. The tight end should do well. The wide receivers should do well. So all aboard for those plays there. Olave, if I guess he's playing, and uh, some of the other Rashid. I think I picked him up from New Orleans. I forgot his last name as a desperation get out bye week play there, just because New Orleans figures in a high shootout game. Vegas, Deontay Adams should be well. The tight end, New Orleans plays tight ends tough. So I don't know if Waller's playing. If he is, he's going to have to earn his biscuits. Jacob should have a rock'em sock'em game and should definitely be in your lineups here. And he should collect lots of points. And then if you wanted to look at an example of my rankings, here's Detroit against Miami. And you can see that I have three buckets: high, average, and low. And Swift, I think, is going to play. And if he is, I've got him and Jamal Williams pretty close together, almost a RB2. Swift may surprise us, but I got him as high uncertainty given him coming off his injury. Jamal Williams, low uncertainty, but neither one is in the RB1 range this week. Hawkinson is a tight end one, but average, but has an opportunity here to do a lot. St. Brown could be a low one, high two, near 70. 75 is kind of my uh, level for ones and wide receivers. Reynolds could surprise us as a 4 this week. Raymond's been coming on without Sun God, so if he can't play, then Raymond becomes and doubles his score. He becomes a solid 3 play, and Reynolds moves up to a 3 play wide receiver 3. Here's Miami. Uh, you're not playing the Dolphins too much. Sanders, a good kicker, but high uncertainty. Tua's about a low 1, high 2 this week. Moster should be an RB1 low, 74. Grosecki can be a tight end 2 this week, but he's high uncertainty, but he has a good spot. So there's conflicting data there. Tyreek should clean the house, but he is average uncertainty this week because he can get fired up or not. Waddle could be a number 1, number 2 type high. It's close to 75. Definitely play him as well. So that's an example of how I tease it out further. So again, I use this data, high points. That's good. Use the DAPs. We just talked through them, and then use the rankings to further cut the bread a little bit. And you can go through that as well. And you can see all the possibilities. Here's the other two shootouts. And what's interesting, Buffalo figures to have a tougher game. Uh, Green Bay has been kind of rough, but they've just let running backs run all over them. So Singletary could have a nice game. You definitely want to play him. Certainly the Buffalo D and the kicker all day long. Uh, Knox could have something, but he's going to have to earn it. The wide Diggs is going to do okay, but it may not be his best game. He has a tough scenario. Green Bay is tough all the way across. That's the shootout. That's the high spread. Vegas says they're going to be behind, and Rodgers is going to just air it out all day long. So plan for garbage time. Wild, lots of passing. Not sure who's going to catch with some of that. On the podcast, the weekend edition, Science of Fantasy Football, D. Mike loves Sammy Watkins. Fantasy receipts are you listing? So we'll see. I don't know. I'll check that in just a second. Cincinnati, Cleveland. Cincinnati should have a great time, except the tight ends. Hayden Hurst going to have to earn his biscuits. But the Boyd Higgins should run all day long. Mixon should run all day long. Play them both all, all, all day long. Hate allergies. Okay. Cleveland's going to have a below average tough. Everybody, you still going to play Chubb. You're still going to play Cooper. You might play the tight end. You know, Brissett's going to have to air it out, but it is at home. That is an advantage. So, Buffalo, Singletary's a 2, could be a 1. Nice spot, low uncertainty. I think Allen is the best quarterback this week. 112. The defense, 100. Play them all day long. Knox has an opportunity to be a high 2 this week. Diggs should be one of the top wide receivers, even in a tough scenario. Davis can be a 3 this week, folks. Even McKenzie could be a 4, could get you out of a bind this week. Let's look at this Sammy Watkins. I got Sammy as the third wide receiver. He's about a wide receiver 5 this week. High uncertainty. I'm not on the D-Mike train here. Uh, is Lassard, if Lassard is out though, then we would have to say, yeah, I think Lazard might be out. Maybe that's why he's calling for Watkins. If that's the case, then he's a solid 4, and Romeo becomes a 3. But there's still high uncertainty. Even Maury Rogers could get in here. It's going to be free for all. Tanyan may surprise everybody. This could be a Tanyan week. Aaron Jones should be a low 1 this week. High uncertainty. Dylan's average uncertainty, but he's a RB4, 3. He has not been coming on. Rogers, really worried about Rogers. 25. That's a quarterback 3 kind of thing. So that's, I would, but the DAPs say he's going to have to throw. So if he can connect with some of these cats, this could be underreporting him. Okay. So I want you to take a look, and I'll just show you the bad news for the week. Let's see. Right here. We got 6 games that are sucky, low scoring. So we got 5 great, 6 suck. So you're going to be struggling to try to find space in some of these crappy games. So use my DAPs, look for spots, use my rankings, look for spots, try to see what it all means. But this is a tough week to set your lineup. This is not an easy week at all. So look at the article on scienceoffantasyfootball.com. Go through, break ties, try to maximize your pointage this week that we all do. I'm about 88% optimization on my rosters across 50 leagues. Not bad, but nobody's 100%. 7 weeks, 88's not bad. And a lot of that success is this kind of data that I'm using. Thanks for listening. Good luck week. Oh, by the way, I hate the London game. Sucky game, 39. That's the lowest of the week. Sad. I don't like London games. Okay, good luck, folks.